Yeah.
They're getting ready to do that. I try to get on them, like, come on, I need this information. Can you get all this information?
All right, we'll call this in the water. To review and approve February 22nd, 2022 minutes. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion we approve of this vote.
Second. Second, all in favor? That is review and approve March 8, 2022 warrant.
I haven't looked at those yet.
You haven't looked at them?
I've looked at the payroll.
Payroll.
You see this bill right here, you see why we let somebody else plow firehouses out. $20 a storm is pretty cheap.
How far do they go?
Does the fire department contract that?
I tried to talk you guys into it, and it didn't work.
$20 you're gonna have to push along that. Equipment repair in there. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad for a couple of costs. $2,400 on one Casco Bay. Yeah. We expected that. Could be higher. No, it's even.
All right, we're all set. So we have a motion to approve them?
I move that we approve the warrants as written.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? You just sign that. I like that. It's like a tri-town, and she's got to finish the rest of that.
Yeah, it is. The truck's not running involved in, I have a problem with it. Already? Yeah. Depth system.
Thompson.
That's me. Trying to pull something up for you guys, and I'm probably still gonna get it for you. But I did wanna let you know that your Vision Online website is up and running. I'll pull it up and show you here in a second. It'll show everybody as well. Last minute thought of mine. Got a couple veterans applications.
Okay. Graham, all three of us.
Bye. Yeah.
Approved by.
Yeah. It'll be different, you know, because I'm looking at it on here instead of the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Well, I got it up, my battery's dead. Want me to do this real
Sure,
quick?
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So what you're gonna go to is you can go right to Google and type in, Vision Government Solutions, which is Vision Government Solutions Online. Should come right up on a Google search, easy enough. What you're gonna end up at is a page that looks like this. It'll be under Main, you'll have to click on Main.
Okay.
Okay, so it shows public, so you just kind of get the vision. You're gonna scroll to all the different towns that are in Maine. Kind of click on Baldwin. The battery's dying, so that's why. And you're gonna end up with a page like this.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and then you're just gonna, oh, sorry. Go to public, so you're gonna end up with a page where you can actually look at all your assessors database now. Gives you the information as to what the last commitment was, what the mill rate was, abatement deadlines, things like that. I update this every commitment. I'll have to update it for this 6 month as well, once we're done. You go to enter online database, you can search by address, owner name, account numbers, whatever information you pretty much want. I'm just trying to, you know, I won't pull anybody specific up, but. And so what it'll do is basically bring you, you know, I went to this address here.
Yep.
46 Target. Brings up all the information, tells you who the owner is, tells you what the assessment is, number of buildings. I knew that was gonna happen. So feel free to check it out on your own. It's just a little tempting piece there.
So Ben, I think, isn't there a link on, the website that gets you to that as well?
On our website,
I put
or
it
yours,
on.
yeah, okay.
I copied the link.
I did send it out. Yep, good. I did have one question, as we're going through things. This is municipal quit claim for map 14, lot 33A. It was done back on this date, about the same day. We also quit claimed it to somebody else. So this was giving it back to the individual who owned it, who lost it. For whatever reason, it's quit claim back to them.
Which is normal, right?
Well, you put it back in their ownership,
Yeah.
and then you turn around and I guess sold it to somebody else, even though you didn't own it anymore. I'm confused by this.
What is it?
Yeah, Florida.
They don't recognize what the lot is.
So I got two owners on one parcel right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where they were done the same day, I can't say that this was done first, this was done
Right.
after, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't know why, I can't remember the details of that.
But if you quick claimed it back to the former owner, because of back taxes, you no longer have authority to sell
Yeah,
it.
right, yeah.
You keep that copy. Okay. Yeah, that won't matter until the August commitment, because it's gonna be tax exempt as of April 1st, 2021 anyway, and that's what it's gonna go through in the 6 months. Okay. It's some abatements. It's your personal property. My copy with all the backup, you're welcome to look at, one for Debbie. State they were not there, not in business.
Okay.
Yeah. So we take them right off. Should've changed it. That's right, bottom crossed out.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
yep. It's good news that we haven't had to do a personal property abatement for a long time.
Yeah.
That's what that shows. This is for, 28 Decker Road. It's an acreage correction.
Okay.
And they've been assessed for 9 acres since 2006. They only have 2.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. This was also an acreage correction. It was a split that got missed. So it was assessed for 7 acres, it's now 5.92.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So those are supplements for 2021 tax year, right directly behind us. Okay, so we had parcel map 3 lot 2, which has been MIA for a good long time, long before we ever took on. The individual who flipped it here recently, we'll say, did not own it April 1st, so we're now supping the entity who did own it, which is the heirs of this individual, because that's who would have owned it April 1st. So, yeah, it wasn't on the tax rolls, it was one of those ones that was merged in for a lot of years into another parcel. But because of the individual that stepped forward in January, got all the heirs to sign off and decided to sell it, we now know what it is because he had it surveyed, and was able to extract it. That's probably the easiest way to say that. So what we've done is we can assess back 3 years. So this is 2021, so I have one incident here for this 912A, which is also needs to be supped. This was a split that was missed. This is a portion of what you just abated.
Okay.
We had the 7 acres and the 5.62. When the survey was done, there was 2 acres left over that was the split that was missed, and this individual owns it, needs to be assessed for it.
Okay.
So for that that, goes with that abatement, more or less. This is the missed 3-2 all along, and these are the same for that same individual for 2020 and 2019. So we go backwards a little bit, a couple of years. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got multiple copies, because one's mine I'm gonna keep, one's gonna be for Debbie.
See, if we keep that long enough, it won't get sorted out.
So once they sign this off, now he can pay it.
Like buying a car.
Mhm. Every time you see it.
Yes.
Keep the years together, because they need to be put in the equipment books. So this is 2020, for lot, map 3, lot 2. You can look at the back paperwork in the back.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's for 2020, and this is for 2019.
See, some of these are old-time landowners. These people have owned that, I bet for 10 years.
Need to get sale. This is for 2019. While they're still going, I'll give you a copy of the abatements and supplements so far to date. This includes the ones that you have tonight.
Okay.
For 21, for 2021. No extra paperwork for it.
I know a lot of this cleanup happens when cleaning up the states.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old landowner. Yeah, but that's his wife that signed it off.
Yeah, I suppose I'll put it there.
That's their wife.
Yep. I was hoping I'd have paperwork ready for you to sign for the commitment, but we're still off a little bit, so I'll have to come back Thursday to try to balance.
How's that looking, good or bad?
This, I need an answer on overlay.
Of course.
where you guys wanna go. So I kinda, in my quick scribbles, as I was getting ready to head out the door, I'm kinda do like the Goldilocks. You want my opinion, too little, too much, just right. I'm sure you guys
You always
enjoy it.
go in the middle of it.
Yeah. So, for the 6 month, this is for the 6 month. Keep that one with my scribbles on it. So that's at a $5.90 mill rate. We'll give you a $2,659.49 overlay. This is at a $6 mill rate. Gives you 20,000 and change.
Amazing how quickly that's done.
So there's my, I think one's too low, I think the other one's maybe too high, I mean, for what would have to spend out, up to you guys. What I would recommend if you're looking for it would be, that's mine, oh, where are they going? Right here. $5.95, gives you 11,000 on overlay. You may think that's heavy, but we still don't know what may come out of the woodwork, if you will. Basically what we're doing is committing exactly as we just did for 2021, so whoever the owners were as of April 1st, 2021, that's who the parcels will be assessed to, personal property as well. The only difference would be abatements and supplements that we've done throughout the year. Obviously keep those up, we don't want to have to do those all over again, so. But somebody could still come out. You're processing them right now, kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
And this now extends another 185 days from when we actually pull the trigger on the commitment, which sounds like probably 2 weeks from tonight. I'll be back. And so that's gonna extend it out. I mean, we're already at September 4th with what I was planning, if I had you planning tonight. So you're gonna be another 2 weeks beyond that. It's gonna be like September 18th is when that abatement period ends. We're already into another commitment.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be rolling another 185 days out through. So, that'd be my recommendation, just in case we have to, something pops up. But you tell me.
I think that's about what we estimate. I have another fund. I was thinking it was talking about 12, yeah.
And that is with your, county tax, with the numbers that you told me about, 0,
Yeah.
for the 6 months.
Yeah.
So we're going with the middle one?
I think we did last year.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with the middle one then.
Do you mind taking a vote?
Okay.
And I'd like a copy of the minutes too with their vote if I could, please.
I move that we use the mill rate of .00595 for the commitment for the transition budget. The second it.
All in favor?
That's all I got. I'm still working on some of the personal property questions you have. I mean, kinda got them answered for you, but maybe next week or something. I don't know, somewhere next month.
So we're busy with some other things.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But do you have any other questions for me, though?
I'm all set.
Congratulations to Robin. Pleasure working with her before. It'll be a pleasure working with her now.
So we will do the commitment before April 1st.
I've been waiting for you to get done the audit, so I'm now here now, so I'm gonna come back on Thursday, I'm gonna try to balance. Right now, we're off by $10,100, not sure what changed, it should only be the abatements and supplements.
Okay.
So we're trying to chase that down, and, so, I don't promise anything, we're doing our best. It's gonna be based on when you can sign it, so you wanna do an emergency meeting, or it's gonna be 2 weeks from tonight?
2 weeks from tonight's fine, that's before the end of the month.
Yeah. That's my plan.
All right, road commission selection and second full-time employees.
All right, I have a suggestion. That we appoint a road commissioner, and then let that appointed road commissioner select his own crew.
That sounds like a good plan. That usually does, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, based on the interview information we had from the other day, I would, move that we appoint Chris Harrington as a new road commissioner.
Is there a second?
What's the-
All in favor? Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good job. I think you'll do fine. I was just talking to you.
There we go.
So we interviewed another individual.
Yep.
And, if you will get back to me and let me know if you're going to want to use that person or not.
See you, man.
Have a good night.
Yeah. You'll be around tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. Touch base with you tomorrow.
Budget review.
We just wanna set up another budget review meeting. Can we do one tomorrow, or Thursday, Friday?
Any day, one of those days is fine, isn't it?
Yeah, both sets of- Okay.
Do tomorrow?
I think Friday would be the best day.
Friday?
We're gonna get Debbie involved in this one too? Yeah. Yeah, we can, yeah.
2 o'clock?
Yep.
All right. Yes, explosive gas detector, purchase of explosive gas detector. So it seems like the state wants us, or OSHA wants us to. State, yeah.
So I looked up and that they're, they're household units in essence. I found two, which is that kitty one. I don't know, what was it, $40 worth total, something like that. It's cheap money. Cheap money. The only thing I have to check and make sure is that you're supposed to put them low to the floor.
Yeah.
Because the propane sinks.
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure there's a place to plug.
Oh, yeah, well.
I mean, it looks like they come with a cord on them, but
There is either battery or.
I think it's battery with a
Battery.
plug, yeah.
We had them in every warehouse we had in the world.
Yeah.
So we run propane powered forklifts,
Mhm.
and you're right, propane is heavier than air. So you gotta get it down low and stuff. We also had a guy monitoring stuff all the time. But we used kitty ones, and they worked all right.
Yep.
Used them a couple of years, throw them away, put new ones up.
Yeah, I think that.
That was what we found worked the best.
All right, well, we'll go look at the two locations that they need to be, one in the basement with a water heater, and then one by the kitchen.
Bruce, any recommendations of that?
I've seen a lot of kitties, and like you said, basement may have to have an extension cord to get over there,
Yeah.
if you wanna move them around the heated area.
Yeah.
And in the kitchen, you probably go almost anywhere, because it's not a very big area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is just battery backup, AC driven with battery backups.
Okay.
And as long as we verify that it's will work, then I'll just have Robin order some.
Okay. Notice to foreclose property owners.
So, you saw the list,
Mm-hmm.
came out. In the next day or two, I'll go through it and, draft up some letters for our property owners.
Okay.
That we can send out. There was a letter that went out with the foreclosure letter saying, the 30-day notice that Deb sent out. And in that one, it asked them to contact us if they had problems. And, this is the flash, we got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Alarm company.
Okay, so you've noticed that you're getting an alarm
Mm-hmm.
notification
My phone.
on your phone
Yeah.
every day at
Yeah.
about 1:30.
Yeah.
And that's because one of the phone lines is not working.
And I think it's related to the switch over to the GWI phone system.
Oh.
And there used to be two phone lines that were, consolidated communications phone lines that were dedicated to the alarm system, the alarm and intrusion system. During the switchover, the one that is malfunctioning, for some reason, got disconnected. I don't know what happened. It's now a virtual line for an internet, IP address type phone.
Yeah.
And the other one seems to be working, but it's a different phone number altogether. And, when I talked to the folks at Protection Professionals, they said, well, you can get rid of that problem awful easily. You just install this Starlink system that uses, like a satellite or a cell phone type signal. And for the cost of $80 a month, they'll do all their monitoring here. So we currently pay them $35 a month to monitor the system. They said for $80 a month, they'll do it with the Starlink system. So that will be, get rid of a $35 bill and get an $80 bill. And get rid of the false alarms. But if you go and look at what we're paying GWI for those two dedicated phone lines, we're paying them $90 a month for those. So I think if we just had Protection Pro come in and sit in their new system and cancel the two consolidated lines, we'd be money ahead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Apparently, it just never worked after the crossover.
No, yeah.
Because he said he could tell on his end that the trouble alarm started on 2 October. Is that about the time you started getting?
I think it was, yeah.
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 All right, well, I'll talk to them about, getting somebody out of it. They have to do a site survey just to verify that the system will work, but if it does, I think it'll take care of that daily trouble alert.
All right, Johnson Controls, video surveillance renewal contract.
This is one that goes back a ways too. I don't know that I have the paperwork here with me, but, oh yeah. This has been open since October 12th. It sent a request to us that we wanted to extend our contract, for the burglar alarm and the cameras. It's a little confusing, I guess, because there's two things that we pay for down there. One is the burglar alarms, and then the other is,
Is that down the garage?
there's the garage system, right?
Yeah.
And, cameras, and then the other is the burglar system, the intrusion detection system. So totally, we pay them, $935 a year. And so I said, well, if we extend the contract, 5 years. Now, everything I've read here is the contract is cancelable. But that will get the thing under contract. I move that we just sign it, get it back online. Yeah. And then, the bigger question is, do we want to stay with that long term or do something else? And, we'll have to sort that out, but I know the
folks working down at the town garage would like to have internet access down there. I think would be good, because your cell phones are very sketchy down there. If you get, Wi-Fi down there on your phone, it would kind of bridge the gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we gotta have something like that.
Hmm?
I think we gotta have something like that for the security system.
Yeah.
We broke into once over there already. Wiped out a couple chainsaws, so that just ran into $35 going.
Well, Taylor was down there the other night at about 12:30, and this guy went out of the road up there. And we was looking on 113 for it, and he ended up getting down, in this whole way.
You say a car was just sitting there?
No, he missed the turn, he was once passing around the turn behind the cemetery, and went right into the snowbank.
Oh.
He called AAA, and an hour later, AAA called us, because they couldn't find him. There was 3 deputies and myself going up down the road looking for him, over guardrails and stuff, but that's because he mentioned the guardrail, he's gone over a guardrail down and back. Well, that wasn't the case once I finally found him. And he got out himself before I found him, but once I told him, that he left there, the deputy spotted him, switched it out to 7 on 113. Over there. So, what are these guys doing in there at 12:30 at night? That's what I'm saying.
Supposed to get sand, huh?
No. I don't think so. They needed sand to get out of it.
Okay.
All right, you move to, continue the contract? Your second? All in favor? All right.
Before we get too far down the road here, here's the, appointment.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Harrington.
Yeah.
We sign it, and you get sworn at. And another one that's not on the agenda, but I move that we appoint Daniel Pierce to be an alternate on the appeals board. And he's already agreed to do it.
Okay.
Get signed, sworn in.
Is that, this Kaspersky protection, is that the, I'm gonna start that?
Yes, right. I don't know if you read that, but, our, technician who handles our, data protection and computer protection said, with the current world situation, you might want to consider,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
getting rid of Kaspersky. As your virus protection on our computers. And there's some question as to whether they're closely tied to the Kremlin. And,
Could be.
well, it's a Russian-based, Moscow-based.
Okay.
And,
The one he wants to go to is the United Kingdom.
yeah, I've used the other one, Sophos, I've used that for a while. Most of these sit in the background, so you can't really tell what they're doing. But,
Yeah, I think we ought to switch.
with the current world situation, it's getting nastier all the time.
Yeah.
And, So I would suggest that we swap.
I agree.
All right,
Yeah.
I move that we have them changed over to Sopos.
You wanna second that, Dwight, or?
Yeah, I'll second
Okay,
that.
all in favor? All right. Okay. Legal Technic.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name's Rick Day, by the way, I live in the quarter.
Yep.
I work for Selectmen Meeting. And this is Jim Seymour. If you guys choose to go into an agreement, it's non-binding agreement with Sebago, he will be the project manager.
Okay.
Because I'm getting ready to retire.
Ah,
So, did you gentlemen have a time to go through the contract, or review the contract?
Yes, I did, I mean, we saw it, again, we talked about it at the Tri-Town meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Well, what this agreement is, it's a non-binding agreement. What that does for Sebago Technics, if you have any engineering issues that you, want us to get involved in, it gives us the first choice.
Yeah.
Okay? And Jim, and if I'm still around, then we'll come in and see what your scope of work is, and come up with a scope of work with a budget that's reduced, because I've already signed the town of Porter, Hiram, and Cornish, and Tri-Town with this agreement. It just gives us in the end, so that we don't have to go out for, saves you guys from going out and getting an RFQ or a request for quotes and all this from other engineering companies. Doesn't cost you anything to get in it, as I mentioned. And, it's just not, Sebago Technics is a civil engineering company with, civil engineers, survey, and Jim's involved with the project right now, has been with, when they tore the fire station down, not the fire station, the post office in Cornish. And we're working right now on the new design for South Hiram Road and Route 25.
Oh, yeah, you was telling us that.
If it had this contract in place, the town of Cornish had at that point in time, we give you a reduced rate from our normal rates, which is anywhere from 10 to 15%.
Yeah, probably 7 to 15%.
Yeah, whatever it is. But we also have the capabilities, if you had a structural problem and you call us up and say, can you send somebody up here for a couple hours to visit with us and look at this problem that we have, then that's what we do at that reduced rate, whoever it might be, a structural engineer or whatever.
Yeah.
Architect, whatever. So that's basically, my spiel. Jim, you got anything to add?
Well, you cleaned it up pretty good. To Rick's point, yeah, we have about 100 some odd employees in our company now. We have services ranging from civil engineering, transportation engineering, landscape architects, surveying. We actually do GIS mapping. Now we're doing scanning with drones and things like that. Yeah. And to Rick's point, we have several relationships with other geotechnical firms, architect firms, and we can bring those in if necessary. To Rick's point, there's no risk to you. The benefit to us is that, like Rick said, we don't have to go out and bid certain projects. Most of these projects are the smaller projects, that are probably time consuming on the paper, but they may be small enough that you just feel that, hey, we can call up Sebago Technics, they'll come out here, assess, give us a quote, and if we're comfortable, we can go forward with it. Yeah. It doesn't prohibit you from saying this is a large-scale project and we want to put it out to bid. It doesn't prohibit you from doing that. You can still do that. But it just basically gives us a relationship with you so that we can cut down on the paperwork and the time. And what that does for you is, if we're under this relationship and you want us to do something, we can start tomorrow. We give you a quote, you can start tomorrow. Where if you have it, any other situation that has to go out to bid, it takes months sometimes to get that started. So, and for us, like I said, it cuts down on the cost of us having to chase these things, put a lot of time and effort into to compete with other firms. But we have a large scale. I work primarily out of the South Portland office.
We did just recently last year acquire George Sawyer's office up in Bridgeton, so there's one day a week that I'm actually in that office. So I'm kind of somewhere between Bridgeton and South Portland. So obviously I'm zipping through here quite a bit. And I would be the main point of contact once this old guy decides he's gonna hang up the boot. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 2-year contract, which it can be renewable after that for 2-year terms or whatever you are comfortable with. I currently have 3 contracts between Casco, Raymond, and Poland. In those particular towns, we also provide municipal services. I'm kind of the contact planner, engineering review for things that go to the planning board or things that are being reviewed at the town level for applications. I work closely with the code enforcement officers a lot in those towns. So that's another side of it that we can provide as a service if you so desire. I often help towns write new ordinances or update old ordinances and things like that as well. So it's another aspect of the service that we can provide. So that's simple. You have any questions for you to answer anything you might have?
Yeah. Just to let everybody know, this gentleman we spearheaded the Tri-Town transfer station, engineered all that, right? Yeah.
Well, I didn't engineer it, Ron Silver asked me to take a look at the plans originally from 2 other engineering companies, and they wanted to put it out to bid, and there was no shape to put them out to bid. I said, you can do it, but you're gonna get change order after change order. So I helped Tri-Town out all summer long, then when we got to the construction, they hired me to oversee the construction.
Yeah. Okay.
But it started in December of 2020, and we just got it completed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually clerk of the works. He was just dotting the I and crossing the T.
I was doing more than that, sir, but that's what they had me on for.
Wrong place, to him, he was wrong place, wrong time, but for us, he was right place, right time.
Yeah. But yes, you're correct. Both of you are correct.
Well, I would think for, small things, we would generally what we'd be looking for. You know, we have people go out and with a credit card spend $1,000 or $2,000, you know, for various things without going through a bid process. And
Yeah.
so I don't think there's any issue with that type of thing as well. But if we get into a bigger project, then we probably want to put it up.
Exactly, yeah, and we're even there to help you out, you know, the $1,000 projects where we're there if you need us for advice, but, you know, we completed a project in Porter last year that went out to bid, for the old Porter Meeting House Road and, Spec Pond Road to get that 3.5 miles of roads tied together and it was a complete rebuild of the roads. We estimated it come in at 1.4 million, it came in at 1.2. And I'm signing the contract next week with Town of Hiram to do Care Cap Road and the new Settlement Road.
I saw that in their warrant,
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll get into something where maybe you've got an old culvert or something for a stream crossing, something like that. You know, we do a lot of permitting with the DEP and the state. You know, there might be something that comes up like that you need a quick turnaround, you know, for emergency services or something like that. We can clearly step in and do that. You know, we have natural resource people, we have a lot of people in contact with DEP, we do a ton of permits with the DEP. So we can assist with that, and as Rick said, you know, if there's something that comes up and you do want to put it out there, we can even assist you help writing the contract or the RFQ or the RFP, whatever you want. You know, we have all these services in-house under one roof, so we don't have to go too far to find somebody to do that. So, like I said, low risk to you, benefit to both sides, you know, and like I said, if you do want to go out for something larger, big street project or something, no problem with us.
Yeah. I'm all good, I'm for it.
Make a motion.
Make a motion, we sign a contract with them.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay.
Thank you very much.
We got a copy of that now, to sign,
I have, if you don't.
Same thing?
Yep, same thing, I just made you a copy. What I'll do with that, because our president has to sign it, I'll get your signatures on it, and within a day or so, I'll just drop it off to the town office.
And what I typically do is just write you a confirmation letter that, you know,
Yeah.
we've accepted it, and with that, I'll put you our annual municipal rates sheet, so you know what each particular discipline in the company charges per hour.
Okay.
And then after that, it's just a matter of a phone call and what you want.
Good.
So I got one more town on my agenda.
Yeah.
Because I bought up in Porter, and that's the town of Passersfield. Then I'll have all 5 towns plus Tri-Town involved with that.
Yeah.
Non-committal contract, if you will. Then I'm gonna retire. 54 years I've been in this business, I've been in it long enough.
Wow.
Thank you.
That and,
Yeah, we'll return that signed and give you a copy, and we'll catch the letter and sheet rates, and
Yeah,
good to go.
great. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Because I
All
don't
right.
know what date.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No, yeah, yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, Cumberland County Dispatch Agreement.
so Bruce got a copy of the agreement, and it covers the next contract for the next 3 years. Well, the upcoming year is from July 1st to June 30th of 2023 is $12,205.60. You see the annual cost thereafter.
Seems like this is cheaper doing it this way. It seems so it's like 10% a year, what the increase was.
No, you put a chart in there that's a little. You know, we pretty much pay what they say they need anyway.
Yeah, and we don't have a choice.
No, you don't.
Yeah, but it's money well spent, though. I mean, they have.
Oh, we gotta have
couldn't
it.
do it for that.
You're right, yeah.
So it requires a signature, and so you get you, then to sign over on the right-hand side.
Okay. So. All right.
I'm a little like surprised at that, it didn't go up more than that.
It went up some, but yeah, it wasn't much.
No,
It's been steadily going up.
Oh, yeah, it is. And the other one was the rescue unit. You know,
The
that-
rescue, yeah, that's,
I thought, I was looking for that to be probably another 10% higher than what it is.
you wanna talk about that right now?
Did we get numbers from that?
I did give you numbers from,
Yeah.
I did give you numbers from, but I think we didn't sign the contract, from what I've been told. And this time they would like to have us sign it, and that's from a few years ago. I don't have Bob's stuff, I got it back there. Wrong, not Bob's.
I think we'd have to bring it to the people and run it through town meeting first, right?
Well, it goes up for a vote, but I just would like to know what the number is, because we
I'm
put it
pretty
in.
sure I gave it to you, but I will give it to you tomorrow, you remind me.
It's 55 something.
I said I had it up there, it'll take me 2, 3, 4 minutes to find it.
Well, it was about 5% more than what it was last year.
Because, what we used for the transition budget was half of what we contracted for last year, since their budget runs, from July first to 30th of June. And I don't have a new number. Hey, Jim, could you see that thing you just signed? I'm gonna grab the number off of.
I know I got it for you, and I gave it to you the day after.
Maybe did, but.
Didn't feel like me going back there trying to find it, so it took me. But I do know that he said it wasn't signed this time, and like they had it signed.
No.
I think it was just an oversight last time.
Yeah.
Dan, help you, make us a copy of this before we.
Yeah.
That will tell you what we spent up to the end of 2021.
Yeah, and I was making some notes on this and stuff. I know I wrote down what he said, but I just don't remember where I wrote it.
Do it tomorrow.
All right, Champagne meeting. We met last week, there's just three of us. There's was some confusion on the dates. And they were okay with the budget that we proposed for the town to vote for. Ben would like to do the fence this year that goes around where the rock's at. He said a wooden fence, but Dwight brought up another type of chain link fence, a different color, that looks pretty good. There's one down just beyond Steep Falls that's black. You don't like your common chain link fence that's out here, and I think it looks pretty good. It's about it.
We're just looking at the email traffic, it looks like there was a lot of confusion about the numbers and how much money's in the budget, so to speak. And,
Yeah.
so, the numbers that we were looking at, the other day when we were doing a budget, those are balances left over for the 2021 budget, the $1,800.
Yeah.
And, that's not what's in the reserve account, because there'll also be the money that was left over from the 2020 budget, and then there's money from ticket sales.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the balance in that reserve account would be, quite honestly, I, haven't tried to accumulate it, but that would be the number that they have available to work with.
Yeah.
You got 53,000 wrote down here.
You guys did?
Yep.
No, that's not an official number. Oh, you did?
No, and the rest are just rough numbers. There's 5% increase.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it.
That's a number I think I made up.
Is it? I just find it small and compare it to that.
Yeah, I think I got this from you.
Good though, because I could have swore I could into that stuff.
Yeah, I know you did.
I know I did.
Last year, if you remember right, he forgot to do a budget. That's why we didn't get much of an increase.
Well, I don't know if there was any increase last year.
No. So like I say, this year, I expected to see,
Nothing changed on the 6 months.
see more than this, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
We're getting a bargain here. You know, it's compared to what other towns are paying
Yeah.
and stuff.
When you see the study report, That will be emphasized.
Where I live, I see that rescue groups by my house sometimes 3 times a day. So you know, it's coming involved quite often.
And it's a good service too, they provide a good service, and, response time is excellent.
They're beating us, but that's because they're sitting at the station, we have to go
Right,
to the
yeah,
station.
yeah.
They're beating us, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. A lot better than what we used to, we have to wait for half an hour before they even man to rescue and then get over here. Then come over here. Informational letters to appears, we already got that settled, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, town office room rental, so, I let her know last night, I haven't forgotten about it, we don't have monthly rental, right? Or do we? I know the hourly, I got a copy of the hourly ones.
I know we do, but I don't know where they
Oh,
are.
yeah. I don't know if Danielle has it.
I'll make a note again to try and see if I have anything in my old files.
Now, if she does wanna do that, requirement from her, I would imagine we would want her to have liability insurance.
Yeah, and I think we'd wanna talk to, MMA insurance as well.
Okay,
What they think we need.
okay. Okay.
It was, yeah. In a somewhat similar note, Kathy Pierce was in the other day suggesting that all of that old exercise equipment could be put in one of the far rooms. I don't know how much the active kids program uses, how much in the building now.
There's 3 of those rooms down there, they got stuff in it. The one way down to the left is locked off because it's damaged.
No, that one had the ceiling tiles down, but them have been fixed.
Okay.
But the Girl Scouts, that we kept up for the Girl Scouts to use.
That's for the Girl Scouts to use?
Yeah.
So the active kids program are using the other 3 rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Except the one where we've got some mold and stuff in, they're not using that. They use their office.
Well, Kathy suggested that we move some of that exercise equipment down there and make it available for people who want to go in there and do some physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one room that's available right now, is the one that has the mold damage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd recommend that, but.
I think the storage something is probably all right, but
Yeah.
I agree with you, before we okay something like that, we gotta go through MMA and see what the insurance is on, you know, what they're requiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Okay.
What you people got tonight?
We were just here for the night 3 lot 2 tax thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, oh, for the abatement, okay.
Yeah, for the abatement, just wanted to make sure that everything was outside as far as
'Cause
owed back taxes.
he's gonna be buying it tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
a piece of that 9 acres, so
Oh.
he just wanted to make sure before he signs on the dotted lines that
I don't wanna get hung
no
for those.
surprises.
Yeah, so you're all set then?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
all set. Did you want to talk to us about something?
I should be good for it now.
Okay.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Enjoy leave.
She's very smart though, I know.
Thank you again, guys.
Yeah. Mary, you got anything?
No, I'm sorry, I missed the last 2 times so quick.
Yeah.
It was icy one night with no internet.
Kathy?
No, but I can find more information about doing a little gym for a town office. Orland has one and Naples has one. and working towards a rec council for Baldwin, getting in pickleball courts. There's funding available for this sort of thing.
Wow.
And I think that, seniors of Baldwin should have their own sort of facility. They don't have to go to Cornish, and they can, you know, do stuff locally.
Yeah.
I think that those would be good sort of things to do. I know that pickleball is extremely popular, but that people have to drive a long way in order to do stuff. Whether it's to Freiburg, I think there's a little bit that happens in the Cornish area, but they're not really enthused about it. There's nothing inside, but this is, I'm proposing outside. So the gym can be an inside thing for activities. We need it. We need to do something. We need to get moving.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, our doctors are saying, get out there and do stuff. And I'm like, okay, how are we gonna do that? So, I
We
think.
brag pretty hard doing it now, don't we? I can tell you for a fact.
If you're doing that, I can shake your hand. That's
Walk
right.
down to the end of the driveway and back, that's a long walk.
And you're done for the day.
Yeah. It'll improve.
Yeah, that's,
Other than that, the library's doing fairly well. We still don't have a director. We do have some work moving forward. We've got some temporary people coming in to do, getting the books on the shelves, you know, barcodes, fine labels, all that kind of stuff. So that's moving forward. The collection is growing. Looking for this summer where we can do yard sales from the community auxiliary, and then the yard sale in August for the book sale itself. There's suggestions about getting some vendor fairs going. There's the Monday market that wants to get started again. So things are moving in a forward direction. Spring is here and people are getting excited, so I'm looking forward to that.
yeah.
Very cool.
That exercise equipment that's up in here, we have to, Deb's gonna, find out, we have to have some written instructions on how to use it.
I can show her what's on the pieces of equipment that I'm ready to bring into it.
Yeah.
I've got 4 pieces from my chiropractor. They have a little plastic thing that's mounted on the frame, and it just says the basics of how to go about using it.
Yeah.
You know, what the cautions are and what's acceptable. Very simple, very easy.
We got tagged, by.
Yeah, they pick us up on that.
Yeah, yeah, so we can rectify that easily, that's not a problem, I can work with that.
Okay. Bruce?
The call we had the other day, hiring for the fuel truck
Yeah.
and the pickup truck, that was a little bit challenging for us. I shut the road down at 5 because they wanted no traffic going through because the truck was still on fire. When, you know, it was coming up through, so I shut it down in the car and finally got a fire truck down there. So I went up to, actually we put cones, you blocked it right off, sent them on Route 5, took Cornish. I went up by your place on Chase Road, put 2 cones, but still yet so they could drive through it. And I couldn't believe the cars, it was up the other way when they finally get up by Crawford Road.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept coming, and I bet, seriously, I bet I had 100 cars come through there. But some of them I got asking questions towards the end of it, and then when they was coming off from Route 5 and they got sent back down this way,
Yeah.
the GPS sent them right back up. Instead of blocking it. And then they come out around.
Oh, geez.
So, that was challenging.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of them was doing that too, the GPS was sending them in that direction.
Send them up by, they're.
Yeah, they come right back out.
Come back
by
up.
the cemetery, and they would continue up through, and of course, when they got to me, I had to send them up Ward's Hill and up around. So, that was a little bit challenging, but we made it.
Yeah.
The study on my part is just about done. I did send, Neil another piece today, because the, fire marshal's office had Baldwin and Cape Elizabeth combined, and the numbers wasn't making any sense. And we started contacting them last week, and finally this morning, we got through to them, and they did correct it. So he has another piece of paper. Now, in talking to him a week ago, and I'm gonna give you some papers, just go home and look at them, they're actually a payroll report per month. What I'm trying to do is get you guys on board to what's going on with the
Yeah.
fire department, which hasn't happened for a long time. And it also has our incidents runs from the time that the tone was out, the time somebody acknowledged, the time the truck was out, the time it arrives and all that.
Yeah.
Neil talked to me about this quite a bit, and I think it is pretty important, because looking at some of these numbers are bad. And what I mean, the numbers are too high, and we need to be trying to figure out why we can't get moving faster. Now, I do know, going through this is work in progress, but take a look at it, and if you like it, fine, and if you don't, say something, and we'll change it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something we just starting out. Now, some of these are far out, but what happens, dispatch doesn't put us in there somewhere, the next thing you know, case in point, Parsonsfield, 2 trucks, 2 of us went over, they sent one back, but it doesn't show me starting until after 1 o'clock. Well, I was over there in the morning.
Yeah.
But it's just the system. You gotta remember, the system, these 2 of us went, so the 2 were under 1, you know, the time when they went out.
Yeah.
And then they sent one back, and dispatch realized, oh, we've got a truck still out there, so we're gonna start them at 13.
Oh, okay. Restart, like a restarted it.
It's like a restart, so it doesn't look good on some of these numbers, but usually there's an answer to it.
Yeah.
But there is, it's a work in progress, take a look at it,
So
and
somehow we gotta streamline that.
if, you know, if you want something different, fine. That's the payroll there, and then starting, this is January here, if you look, the dates are there, and we're starting. Same there, payroll, and that starts January, if you look at the dates, right up until today, I think it was. Take a look at it and see what you think, and we'll go from there. Make it work is what I'm trying to do. Yeah. That's it. I thought he. I thought that happens a lot.
Looks like Howard and Bruce have been very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howard's right down, so he's.
Thing is, I lose Howard pretty quick, because he's gonna have an operation in a while.
Oh.
I'm gonna lose him for a while.
Yeah. Now, I know when I was talking to Neil, that one of his recommendations was gonna be, like, the road crew, they're in the town available, and they can respond to the calls too.
Getting thrown in this on the question.
Yeah.
Man, I tried to turn my radio in and I couldn't think back.
Well, you got the experience.
Well, there's certain things that we can use for, especially,
Blocking traffic off.
blocking traffic.
Yeah,
If-
right,
if-
yeah.
if we know we got a windy storm and trees coming down and stuff, that would help.
We're getting out of bed in the middle of the night.
Well, that's one thing I can never understand. I mean, if the tree goes down across the road, wouldn't that be, road department?
It is,
Well,
but it's also emergency because you can't get through, and that's, I think, how we got roped into it and stuck with it.
Right, yeah.
All right, I think that's what's happened in the past.
Yeah.
I tried to figure that out. And I'm not saying that, no, I wanna throw it all over, I don't, but there's times you could use help out there.
Right, yeah.
It is very bad.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Anything else?
Nope.
Joe, you got anything?
No, all set, thank you.
Anything, got anything?
Looking forward to it.
When are you gonna get those potholes down River Road?
I want to finish. Already done.
You're starting with hitting the mailbox, especially.
Yeah, I am about River.
Stevie?
Just to follow up with you, Dwight, we did get the loader brakes fixed. It was lines.
Froze.
Nope. Both lines on the front were broke.
Oh, the hydraulic lines?
Nope.
The brake line.
Brake line.
Yeah.
They go inside the guard right on the.
Yeah, they're usually rot right inside them,
That's what
yeah.
happened,
So,
so we got them replaced.
When those 980s we had into work and stuff. If you replace one, you might throw part of the other one while you're
well,
working
that's
on
just
it.
it. I mean, we called Milton Cat and they wanted, what, $144 for them? $148.
Kurt's come up with the idea, we'll go over and price out Napa and we'll bend them ourselves. $44 with a gallon jug of break wood and we're out the door. So,
Good.
Very good.
Still waiting on the tie rod ordeal, and it won't be up to snuff on trucks.
For now.
For now.
This is on the Sterling?
No, the Sterling is all stickered, it's the blue 550. It needs both tie rods on the passenger side, which is a common thing,
So,
apparently.
did the black 550 go back?
It has not yet. I don't dare send it back. I've got a code reader at home, I'm gonna see if I can plug it in and see what the code is for the check engine light. I'm hoping that it's not the DEF system again, but if it is, then it's gotta go back, because there's gotta be some sort of warranty on whatever they did.
Yeah.
There was
I hope to get out of it cheaper than I did last year.
well, there was a problem with the power, and it seemed to have settled itself back out again, but when the check engine light come back on, I was plowing 107, 7 miles an hour to the top of Tyler Hill. Wow. That's not very fast. You try to push that throttle through the floorboard, and it just weren't gonna go anymore, so.
She went right into creep mode.
Yeah, she went right into creep mode, and it seemed to work itself out. You've driven it, I've driven it. Yeah. Check engine light's still on, so I'm not 100% sure that it's the same issue, but we'll see if we can find what the code is before we ship it back up there for 6 months. So that's how it is, so.
Parts is a hard thing right now.
Yeah, because I think the blue 550 is the only one without a sticker now.
That's the only one without a sticker. Everything else, we got the alternator for the grader, starting to put that back together, and then that should be 100% again.
That should be.
The end.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Let's just say everything should be running and everything should be legal. Other than that.
Sometimes, you and I talk about the radio zone, you should be putting mobiles in those.
Oh, yeah, the one.
In the trucks that don't have them. Those handheld radios like this don't go across the mountain at all.
I thought they all had them in it.
No.
There's
All
a
three
few
big
that don't.
trucks, all 3 big trucks have mobiles, but the 2 550s don't.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same with the loaders, right? No, the backhoe has.
The backhoe has one. I don't think the loader.
The loader has that old one that needs to be
Yeah.
replaced.
You just might want to be thinking about, buying
Yeah.
more radios. We've had all the radios done and they're checked out, and each time the dead one, I want to get over to Hartford, so we can check that one out. I'm waiting for the bill, that's the next thing.
Well, maybe Brian relied more on his cell phone than he did the radio.
It's quite
Well, and that's part of it, because where the radios don't work, even in big trucks, your cell phone works, and when your cell phone don't work, the radio works.
Yeah.
So depending on where you are,
Yeah,
if somebody's on the top of Saddleback, your cell phone's not gonna work, but the radio does.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, besides 107, is there any other dead spots in town for the radios?
yeah, there's quite a few actually.
Is there really?
One being Pigeon Brook behind, by Janela's house.
Really?
Yep.
Is that
That's with the,
the town radio,
yeah, that's with the mobile,
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Anything else? Russ, you got anything?
Oh, I probably have a question. Has anyone said to any of you about that sign down on the car lot by where 117 runs into 113?
Yes.
Somebody talking?
Yeah, Bruce, Paul Thomas said the other day he was gonna get us some information about state sign laws. I haven't seen it yet, but.
Well, we don't have a sign ordinance, but, the state has things to say about it, and, Paul's comment was that the sign is not on the same property that what the business is advertised. And that in the state regulations, that's a violation. And that there's two signs there, it's a V shape instead of the two signs where one sign's okay, which means if it's perpendicular to the road and there's a sign on each side of the board, that's okay. But it's minor. I mentioned to Paul that Joel is a reasonable individual, talk to him, see if, to make a change, and Paul's upset about it. Joel just called me today and was wondering about it, and I told him what I just said to you, and, he said, well, Steve Estes had the sign just like mine. I said, well, I guess we can't do anything about it then. So, that's on the back burner right now.
All right, anything else?
No, that's it.
Robin, you got anything?
Quiet time.
Good. All that? Bob, you got anything else?
No. We got the executive session.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do I get it?
No.
One more step. So, move the select board go into the executive session, point of, 1 MRSA, section 405, 6F, discuss confidential executives.